Hey, good morning, everyone. Today is Monday, May 11th. Hope everyone had a great weekend. Hope you guys had a good Mother's Day. For those of you that went fishing, hope you guys did really well with that. I got out a couple times. I didn't have much luck. It was cold. It was windy out there. Went out on Saturday. Went on Lake Bemidji and Lake Irvin. Caught a few small walleyes, a bunch of northerns, some perch. I went in my kayak yesterday up to Washgish and fished in the Tamarack River up there. There were boats everywhere. No one was catching a thing. It was super windy out there yesterday. So I ended up catching two walleyes up there. So it was a long trip up there for not a whole lot. This morning we've got a beautiful sunny morning, 26 degrees. I can't believe it's May 11th and it's 26 degrees. Of course, we had snow over the weekend too, so it's got to be warming up pretty soon, right? All right. If you guys were out fishing, whatever, and let me know. I'd love to hear how you guys did this weekend. I'm going to read to you guys today. I posted chapters 25 and 26 yesterday, so I guess we're at 27 and 28. Keeping up with what Izzy wants, 2 chapters a day. So this chapter 27, is called A Cigarette for Ray, and it's not what you think. Hijiki ran through fire, chased by the cackling Kijumana. Kijumana were little forest sprites and bit with big heads and flaming red hair. Hijiki zigged and zagged, but he couldn't escape it. Then the pine tree loomed up ahead of him again, and again there was nowhere to turn. Hijiki knew it was coming, what waited for him around the other side of the pine tree, but he couldn't stop. And suddenly, there he was, the American soldier, Ray. Hijiki barreled into him, and then the dream exploded with the force of a grenade. "Ah, no, I'm sorry," Hijiki cried. He shot straight up, his chest tight, his face covered in sweat. The others in the cave around him woke up, grumbling, and then turned over to go back to sleep. "Keep that boy quiet, or I'll make him quiet," Private Miata hissed from his guard post at the front of the cave. Hijiki ran a hand over his face. He had a fever, he was sure of it, and he shivered even though he was burning up inside. "Here, my dear," an old Okinawan woman whispered, making him jump. The woman's face was wrinkled, and she wore a matching blue kimono and kerchief. She had brought Hijiki a cup of dirty water from the water barrel he and Yoshio had carried back to the cave. As Hijiki nodded his thanks and took the cup from the kind old lady, he noticed the backs of her hands. They were tattooed with Hijiki. Hijiki were indigo tattoos Okinawan women had once worn on the backs of their hands to mark important events in their lives. The Japanese government had banned Hijiki long before Hijiki was born, but some old women still had them. Hijiki caught glimpses of a circle and a square that represented a wound spool of thread and a sewing box. Arrows marked the days her daughters left home to start families of their own, and little stars for when her grandchildren had been born. Then the old woman's hand disappeared inside the sleeves of her kimono. "Did you have a nightmare?" the old woman asked. She spoke Okinawan, not Japanese. "I was being chased by the Kujamana," Hijiki whispered. The old woman nodded. "There are many Kujamanas about these days. Their homes in the banyan trees were all destroyed. They usually hate the smell of farts, though, so I don't know what they're doing in this stinky cave." She was trying to cheer him up, but Hideki's despair went deeper than fart jokes. He avoided her eyes and stared into the dark water of his cup. "There's something more, though, isn't there?" the old woman asked. Hijiki could still feel the weight of it on his chest. I killed a man, an American soldier, and I think he's haunting me. I've been seeing things. and hearing things. The old woman looked at Hideki, this way and that, as though trying to spot a spider that was crawling on him. No, this is no yokai. You have the Americans' mabui on you. Hideki gave a start. He carried Rei's mabui? How did she know? But then Hideki remembered his grandmother, back when she was alive, helping Hideki find his own mabui every day after he'd lost in playing outside. Maybe you had to be older to see it. I thought you could only carry the mabui of an ancestor, Hideki said. Oh, no, said the woman. A person's mabui can come loose when something shocking happens. Sometimes a mabui is simply lost, and you can find it again, but sometimes it attaches itself to someone else. Was his death a particularly frightful one? Hideki saw himself running into Rei, knocking him down, fumbling for his grenade, and throwing it. Yes, Hideki said. His heart sank. Not only had he killed Rei, he had done it in so shocking a manner that Rei's very spirit had come unstuck and attached to him. No wonder he felt haunted. It wasn't just Shigetomo's mabui that was competing with Hideki's soul. It was Rei's, too. Can you help me get rid of it? Hideki asked the old woman. She shook her head. For that, you need a Yuta. Kamiko. Hideki was already going to find his sister, and now he was even more eager to reach her. If he could just clear this fog from his head and get past Private Miyata and his rifle, then he could help Kamiko, and Kamiko could help him. But it might be days before he found her, or maybe even weeks, if she were even still alive. Maybe I can do it myself, Hideki said. Kamiko had taught Hideki how to perform the ceremony to try to appease Shigetomo's mabui. Shigetomo's spirit had proven too stubborn to go away with just a ritual, but maybe it would work with Rei's. Hideki remembered the words, but he didn't have incense. No, wait, he did have something. He dug in Rei's pack and pulled out the matches and cigarettes. He could light the cigarettes and use them as incense. And they had even belonged to the dead soldier. That had to help. Hideki lit one of the cigarettes and fanned it until a trickle of smoke rose from it. In something like a fever dream, Hideki closed his eyes and began to speak to Rei's mabui. I'm sorry, Rei, Hideki said. I didn't know what I was doing. I was afraid, and my fear turned me into a monster. Shh, Winston. Sorry. The trick was for Hideki and Rei to come to some sort of understanding about what had happened, to resolve whatever issue Rei's mabui still had with the way he had died. Hideki felt a chill, and when he opened his eyes, he thought he could almost see the American standing there in front of him in the smoke. Rei? Hideki whispered. What's that smell? Private Miyata's angry voice broke the spell. The scent of burning tobacco had drawn him back from the cave. The private waved away the smoke and picked up the cigarette, ruining everything. This is an American cigarette. Where did you get it? Miyata demanded. He tossed the cigarette on the floor and snatched up Rei's pack. This is an American pack. Are you a spy? What? No, Hideki said. I took it off a soldier I killed. The others in the cave awoke to the yelling, and Hideki heard the murmuring and stirring around him. The boy is just trying to appease the spirit of the man who died, the old woman told the soldier. She said it in Okinawan, though. And not Japanese, and it threw the soldier into a rage. You were told to speak only Japanese, Miyata yelled. Anyone who doesn't speak Japanese is the enemy. She's an old lady who doesn't speak Japanese, Hideki tried to explain. She was just telling you what I was doing with the cigarettes. But the private wasn't listening. What are you trying to hide? He yelled at the old woman. He yanked her up by the arm, and her kimono fell away from her hands. When the soldier saw her markings, his eyes went wide. "Those tattoos, they are forbidden. You are Okinawan spies, both of you." With his other hand, the soldier grabbed Hideki's arm. Private Miyata dragged him and the old woman toward the mouth of the cave. "Spies and traitors will be shot." And that's chapter 27. Okay, on to the next chapter. It's called Spies, of course, huh? All right, chapter 28, Spies. No, 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 please wait, Hideki cried. "Yoshio, somebody help us!" Yoshio was awake and sitting up, but he didn't leave his mother's side, and none of the other Okinawans moved to help Hideki and the old woman. No one wanted to draw the crazy soldier's attention. As Miyata wrestled both of them toward the entrance of the cave, Hideki remembered the grenade in his pocket, his last grenade. He pulled it out and uncorked the rubber stopper. "I have a grenade," Hideki cried. "Let us go or I'll blow us all up." Private Miyata released Hideki and the old woman. He stepped back, frightened. Hideki's heart raced. He couldn't believe what he was doing. But what other choice did he have? Private Miyata's rifle was propped up against the wall a few steps away. He glanced at it, then back at the grenade, then took a step toward his rifle. "Don't!" Hideki said. He brought the fuse and the clap closer like he was about to light the grenade. And Miyata froze. "We're not spies," Hideki tried to explain again. "I took these cigarettes, I took those cigarettes from a dead American soldier." The blood was thundering in his aching head, and he was having trouble putting words together. "Remember how to speak Japanese." "I'm in the Blood and the Iron Student Corps," Hideki told Private Miyata. "I was just trying to get rid of the Mabui of the man I killed." "What's a Mabui? I don't even know what that means," the soldier yelled. "What's happening?" the old woman asked Hideki in Okinawa. "Why is he angry with us?" "Spies," Miyata cried again. "Anyone who speaks Okinawan is a spy." Hideki knew then that nothing he said would satisfy the private. Miyata was angry and hungry and scared, and as long as there were American soldiers on Okinawa, as long as American bombs kept falling all day and all night, nothing was going to change that. Private Miyata took another step towards his rifle. Hideki snatched up the still smoldering cigarette from the floor of the cave and held it close to the grenade's fuse. "If you touch that rifle, I'll light this fuse," Hideki promised. As he said it, visions of Ray at the pine tree flooded back to him. Ray raising his rifle, Hideki lighting the grenade, the shot, the explosion. Hideki felt a cold shiver go down his back, saw a shadow flicker out of the corner of his eye. He didn't turn to look at it, though. He knew who it was. Who it was. "I've killed the man," Hideki said quietly. "Have you?" That seemed to get through to Miyata at last. Sweat broke out on his forehead, and he slowly lifted his arms in surrender. "Move to the back of the cave," Hideki told him. Miyata did, his eyes never leaving the grenade. The Okinawans in the back of the cave slid away from the private, keeping their distance from Hideki, too. Yoshio stared at Hideki with wide, disbelieving eyes. "Come with me," Hideki said. "Who, me?" the old woman asked. She stepped deeper into the cave, away from Hideki. "All of you," Hideki said. His eyes flitted from Miyata to the Okinawans and back again, but he spoke to the families in the corner. "That man has gone crazy. It's not safe here any longer. Come with me." "Where?" asked one of the old Okinawan men. "It's not safe outside either. We can feel the bombs and hear the guns." The old man was right. Hideki knew it. They shouldn't stay here, but they shouldn't come with him either. Nowhere in Okinawa was safe for Okinawans. Hideki bent down and slipped his arm through one of the straps on Ray's pack, quickly bringing the smoking cigarette up to the fuse. The weight of the pack threw off his coordination, and he almost touched the burning ember to the fuse by accident. Private Miata cried out and cowered, but the grenade wasn't lit. Hijiki backed away toward the entrance. He was going to be on his own again. These people are not spies, Hijiki told Miata. They're innocent Japanese citizens who need your help, your protection. But since I don't trust you to keep them safe, I'm taking this. Hijiki snatched up Private Miata's rifle and dashed out into the rain. All right, that's it for today, chapter 27 and 28. Hope everyone again is having a great day, and get outside, hopefully get some more fishing in, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.